You know how the spire on Notre Dame recently burned down, right? Of course you do. You're a worldly person. You knew that. Well, they're in the process of rebuilding it right now. And just while the reconstruction teams were checking the stability of the ground before installing some new scaffolding, they made an insane discovery: a leaden sarcophagus. Yeah, that's right. They actually just dug up a sarcophagus underneath Notre Dame, as in a coffin that they put very important people in when they die. They're generally made of stone, sarcophagi, and they have carvings on them. They're all fancy, and they're displayed above ground. King Tut was put in one in his pyramid's burial chamber, with the walls around it all painted with pictures of his afterlife. Generally, the idea was whoever was put in the sarcophagus was fancy or rich enough to have everything in the afterlife too, with the sarcophagus just holding the body. Which sounds amazing, or at least amazing if you were an important person put in one of these. Anyway, they just found a sarcophagus underneath Notre Dame by accident through their reconstruction efforts. They don't know everything about it yet, naturally, but they think it was made for a senior religious dignitary in the 1300s, the century after the cathedral was built. It's made of lead, and it's human-shaped. They used a mini endoscopic camera to peek inside and caught glimpses of fabric and hair and a pillow made of leaves on top of its head, which is something people used to do when religious leaders were buried, make these little leaf pillow things. What's more, they found a bunch of tombs around the sarcophagus, as well as pieces of sculptures just below the cathedral's floor. They unearthed a pair of carved hands, sculpted vegetables, and a bust of a bearded man. Is the bust of the dude in the sarcophagus? Maybe. Were the hands there to help him and for him to use in the afterlife? Possibly. Were the vegetables there for him to eat in his fabulous afterlife? And were the tombs there for all the people who were brutally sacrificed to watch over him in the afterlife? My bet is on those tombs being filled with a bunch of kiss-asses who volunteered to be sacrificed just to get a piece of the rich dude's afterlife. All of this is totally possible. Because this is the kind of stuff they used to do in the past. Stuff that sounds crazy now, but belonged to a whole different time, with a whole different sky and a whole different land, with fewer distractions from the important stuff like thinking about the afterlife. Unlike today, when we barely think about it at all, which is a huge part of our problem in general, forgetting about all the important stuff, if you ask me. Because inside each and every one of us is a constant anxiety of knowing we're all going to die at some point. That's a horrible thing to live with. And instead of thinking about that and thinking about what comes next, and maybe trying to be a good person and connecting with the other pieces of magic stardust all around us, all the people, and making good connections while we can in this fleeting moment, instead, we focus on shopping and arguing online and other total nonsensical distractions. Yep, you know that's true. So, it makes perfect sense then that even though they just made this crazy discovery of this sarcophagus, they've only given archaeologists until March 25th to finish their work, and then they'll resume reconstruction, building over the past instead of trying to learn from it, just like we always do. Let's just hope they don't piss off whoever is buried in that sarcophagus too much and he decides to get his afterlife slaves to burn the whole damn thing down all over.